Oh, it's so good to be here. When Jack was talking earlier about this being the 34th year of this conference, it made me think a little bit to my first conference. And I realized I've been coming here since 2004. So for 20 years, I've got to see this community grow. I've gotten to be a part of this industry and watch this industry change. And I've had my own journey as a part of that. And it's fun to reflect. And it's nice to see that we're not done with change. Like, we're continuing to do a lot of things and we're continuing to grow. Today, I wanted to talk to you about what we're doing at NextEra and give you a little bit of our journey. So the concept today really is about how are you valuing your geographic information, your GIS, your geospatial data. So as Jack said, who's NextEra? You may not know. We like to joke that we're the largest company you've never heard of. We're actually two companies under one umbrella. We're Florida Power and Light, the country's largest regulated utility, over 6 million customers. We're also NextEra Energy Resources, which happens to be the world's largest renewable energy company. We have over 36 gigawatts and counting of current production in renewable resources, wind, solar, battery. And we've got a even larger backlog over the next 5 years that we're going to double that size, if not beyond. So the outlook's great for what the energy transition may look like, or the mixed commodity that we may be looking at. So when we talk about data, this quote always comes to me from Doug Laney, wrote a book called Infonomics. And I love this quote. It's stop thinking about data as an asset and start treating it as one. I like to switch it up a little bit and say, let's stop thinking about location as an asset and let's actually start treating it as one. So what does that mean? We know that we need to manage our data. A lot of you today are curating really phenomenal products within your organization. You're sharing, distributing that in various ways, a lot of the tools that we've already been talking about. You may have ways to measure it. What is the quality of that data? How is it being utilized? But we don't always get to the point of understanding how we monetize it. So all three of those are very, very important to understanding the overall value of the information that you produce and the value that you bring to your organizations. There's a bunch of different ways we can talk about monetization. I think y'all understand how to measure. I know you know how to manage your data. We've been doing it for a long time. Monetization is a different variable that doesn't always work for geospatial people. We don't always think about it as much. For us at NextEra, we really focus on the top three here. So what is the intrinsic value? That's that quality metric, right? So as the quality of data continues to improve, the value of that data actually goes up. So it's important to continue to preserve quality. What are the features and facets of quality, and how do we continue to ensure that that's happening? And it's got a process of ownership. It's got a process to mature. Then there's business value. So that's really, what is the utility of that data to the business? Are the data sets that you're managing, maintaining? How's the business that you're in and supporting, how are they utilizing that information? Measuring that as well and understanding, and you're probably doing that through feedback that you get. It's an important thing to capture. What's the utility of the data to the organization? And the other one that we focus on is performance. So understanding the impact to business outcome. If I have this data sooner in a business process, can I make a decision faster that results in some sort of economic outcome for that project, for that information that's being a decision point in your organization? The ones on the bottom, a lot of you that work at our various data providers that we've all used throughout the industry, your White Stars, your S&Ps, your Rex Tags, they do those very well. They understand the market value of their data. So they're great people to talk to kind of see how to leverage similar models in your internal organization, because we can learn from each other. It's part of why we're here. It's a phenomenal community. Organizing around GIS. So it's not just about the value and the product that you produce. It's also understanding how to ensure that you're getting your products out to your organization. Throughout my career, I used to think you could only do this well in that part on the left, that centralized approach. I fought hard in many organizations to try to centralize GIS and create like a nucleus, if you will. What I've learned is decentralized and centralized doesn't really matter. You can do and be successful in either models because it's about the culture of the organization, which is very hard to change. So you might as well figure out how to work with it. So at NextEra, we're in a decentralized model. We've embraced decentralization. It's finding ways to still work together, simulating what you would consider maybe a centralized, but having all the respective teams do what they do in their respective business units and still having a common narrative, and focusing on quality. Those metrics we see there at the bottom, completeness, uniqueness, your timeliness, validity, et cetera. We're focusing on those in each of those facets of the organization. Everyone benefits and everyone gains value out of that. What this has allowed us to do is to really accelerate our journey through applying an enterprise-wide GIS and really connecting the community. We've started to apply things like deep learning models for construction monitoring, vegetation analysis. We're doing big data analytics at a nationwide scale. We're taking dense data sets that normally would be very difficult to manage, that were often produced in silos, and we're democratizing those, and they're being leveraged at a nationwide scale for quick business support and decisions. We're producing sustainability models and suitability analysis to go along with it, understanding how to optimize our projects, many of the things that you are all doing today. And lastly, we are also a utility. So we've adopted utility networks, Esri asset packages in many facets of the organization, standardizing our schemas. These are all things that have helped move the organization further and faster, and we're delivering on value. I wanted to come back to community a little bit. As I said, I've been coming to this conference for about 20 years. I've seen my career go from being an upstream or offshore oil and gas. I've worked in pipeline. I spent time in mining, and now I find myself in renewables. This community has really provided me a pathway to take my skill sets and navigate through all those different industries. And that's because the skill sets don't change a lot between them. What you do today, the geographic approach, the science that you practice is applicable across many, many industries. So it's been exciting to watch this community change and see the value that we get from community. You can apply and focus on that in your internal organizations as well. So build your communities in your organizations. If they're already established, get involved, share your work. It's really important to engage in that way because that's how we learn from each other and we move faster. So as you invest in community, your value increases. As your value increases, you continue to grow your community. It's just kind of that simple, but it really involves getting engaged. Really want to leave you with that. Thank you for having me here today.